Hey guys and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at some Gears of War 1 Ultimate Edition beta gameplay. We're also going to be talking about the pros and cons to this in the segment I like to call the good, the bad and the ugly. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I really enjoyed about the beta, and the first thing you will notice when playing this game, is that the graphics look amazing. This game hasn't just only been bumped up to 1080p, every graphic in the game has been completely redone. That means that every asset, which is an object in the game, has been taken down to its base core mechanics of the wire mesh, and then completely retextured. This game looks amazing and absolutely perfect. I really enjoy this about the beta. Moving on to a first for the Gears franchise, that is 60 FPS. It is now considered the norm for next-gen console games to run at 60 frames per second, and the Gears of War 1 Ultimate Edition will be the first Gears game to have this feature, and it runs and plays very smoothly and it looks amazing. The third thing on my list starts us off with something new that wasn't in original Gears of War 1 game, that is weapon skins. Now you can customize your loadout before the match begins, just like you could in Gears of War 3, and go in with a shiny new Lancer, or Gnasher. Now, these weapon skins are obtained throughout the beta. For every day you play, you get a new weapon skin, and then you're allowed to keep this for the retail version of the game, and then other people who haven't played the beta can't get this weapon skin, so it's very exclusive content throughout the beta. It's pretty cool to have this level of customization and personalization in the Gears of War 1 game, because it wasn't there in the original title. Something else that has been added to the Gears beta that wasn't in the original Gears of War 1 title is that the spotting mechanic from Gears of War 3 is in the Gears beta. Now this is a really significant change because it changes everything about the gameplay and how you move and work your way throughout the map, because originally you needed a lot of teamwork to be able to call out where the enemies were going, where they are, and spot the enemies that way. Now you can simply push down your right thumbstick and then spot the enemy, and he will glow blue or red depending on what team he is, and this is another tweak that has been made from the spotting mechanic, so this significantly changes the beta and the way you play the game, and I really do enjoy this mechanic being in the game. One final feature that has been added to the Gears of War 1 beta is that you now have bloom from Gears of War 3. On your longshot rifle or your Lancer, you'll notice when you're moving and ADSing, the bloom will open and close depending on how quickly you're moving and if you stop or keep moving. This is a significant change to the beta because it significantly changes the way you play the beta and the way you run around with your Lancer or your longshot rifle. A lot of people are not going to be no-scoping that rifle anymore, which is pretty awesome. So I'm really happy this is back from the Gears of War 3 game because I got very used to it, and it's nice to see it in older versions of Gears of War. Throughout the beta I kept noticing tiny little details that just made me love the game even more, and I realised they were in the original Gears of War, but I never noticed them 10 years ago because the graphics and resolution were so low, as well as the tones of colours were much more duller and not as bright and punchy as they are now. Now when you jack up against the wall and you see your guy holding the Lancer, or it's on your back, you'll notice that the chainsaw is covered in blood and specks of like little bits of bone and stuff like that, and it really looks alive. And then when you chainsaw a guy in half, your guy just gets drenched in blood, and when you see them across the map absolutely drenched in blood, you know they're out to get you and they're going to rip your guts out, and it just looks fantastic. One final thing that is good about the beta, and this is the most important thing, when playing a remastered game, you want the game to be as close to the original game as humanly possible. Although there has been up to resolution in graphics, as well as some game mechanics have changed, such as the spotting or the bloom, this game still runs just like Gears of War 1. You can play both games side by side, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless you looked at the graphics. They still play exactly the same, and that is the thing that is most important about this beta. Another thing that's considered normal for next generation consoles is dedicated servers. Now the Gears of War 1 beta was on a dedicated server, and although there was a tiny bit of lag, that was mainly because of my fault, because someone on my house was using the internet and watching something on YouTube or streaming a video or something like that. Although these dedicated servers are there to make you lag less, they do not cut out the lag completely, and that's something a lot of people have to understand. This game does run silky smooth though. With the high resolution, the upped graphics, as well as the FPS and the dedicated servers, this game plays so bloody well. I'm so pumped for this game. Okay, so that's everything that was good about the beta. We're gonna now move on to the things that were bad, and the first thing was, joining the beta was a pain in the ass. I've never joined a beta in such a way that frustrated me and made me wait for almost 17 hours. What you first had to do was go to gearsofwar.com and then log in, and if you didn't log in you had to create an account, and then you had to register for the Gears of War 1 beta. Pretty straightforward. But then you had to wait for a code, and it was up to 24 hours that you had to wait. I myself waited for 17 hours, and it was the most frustrating 17 hours of my life. When you get the code, you can then download the beta, but then you can't play it. You have to wait for them to send you a second code to activate the beta and give you permission to play in the beta. This is a huge waste of time, and it just seems like an absurd amount of energy spent getting into the beta. They should have just left it public, put it onto the Xbox One dashboard and let everyone play it. It would have been so much simpler. So this is something that really did piss me off about the beta. One final thing about the beta that really did get to me and got to a lot of people, and it's one of the core mechanics of Gears of War 1, and that is teamwork. You cannot join a party in progress, you cannot join a party at all. There is no party system in the beta and it's really frustrating. Although it would have been frustrating going against an enemy team when you're playing with randoms and they have a full team, it still would have been good to be able to play with your friends, and it is something that really did frustrate a lot of people, including myself. You had to play solo all the time, and it's something that really sucked the life out of Gears of War, and unless you found a really good teammate throughout playing on random, you're going to be stuck playing on your own with shitty teammates that don't communicate and don't play well. So you couldn't pick your teammates, you had to get stuck with randoms, and that is something that seriously hindered the performance of this beta. So that is everything that is good and bad about the beta. We're now going to move into the ugly stuff. This is the things that really hindered the beta and made it unbearable to play. And as you might expect from a Gears of War beta, there was absolutely nothing that made this game unbearable to play. All in all, this beta was a complete and utter joy to play, and I really cannot wait for the final build of the game to come out so I can play it with my friends. And yeah, that's basically it. The beta was amazing. If you're not in it, then I really am sorry for you. Go to www.gearsofwar.com, register, get your code in like 20 hours, and play for the final few days. It really is worth it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you enjoyed the commentary and the video, then go ahead and leave a like because it really helps me out. As well as, if you're new here, subscribe for more, and I'm going to leave you the rest of this gameplay, so I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
You have bent the humans to your